welcome. It's Monday morning. It's Manchester United stream, and we are here for another show after yesterday's performance. It's not even Monday morning. What am I talking about? What am I doing? This midweek game has completely confused me. It's Wednesday morning. For God's sake, Travis, wake up, man. Wake up. I apologise. It is, of course, Wednesday morning. It was a Tuesday night game. Wake up. Tuesday night, yes, Tuesday night. And it was a 1-1 draw against West Ham. And look, I was disappointed, gutted, frustrated. There was lots of emotions going on yesterday in my head after watching United play. Was I happy? Am I happy this morning? Have I woke up and do I think differently? I do. Like always, the emotions have calmed down. I'm a little bit more reserved with what I saw yesterday. And I can see there's lots of positive to take out of the game. Yes, I was disappointed in the first half and the overall performance by United. I felt like they played within themselves. They could have gone out there and really shown what they were made of against this West Ham side. Yes, West Ham are riding high right now. They're in good form, but I still felt like United should have not respected them the way they did. In the first half, it was obvious United were fearful of this West Ham scoring. And I got the importance of the first goal. I really did. I also was saying this. I was sat there watching the game within the first 5 minutes, and I said, whoever scores first should be going on and winning this game. The first goal is the most important goal in this game. It's going to dictate everything going forward. Of course, if United scored first, I think they would have gone on to win the game. I don't think West Ham would have had it within them to come back against United. However, on the other side of things, United did come back against West Ham, scoring that late equaliser in injury time with Sesko, just with that right foot of his. What a shot. What a finish. This kid is now showing what he's made of. And the positive signs, positive things. And the other positive thing I took out of the game yesterday was, look, a few months ago, we know under Ruben Amorim, this team of ours would never have been challenging for that game. It wouldn't have been a 1-1 draw. It wouldn't have been a 1-0 victory for West Ham. It would have been at least 2 or 3-0 to West Ham. They would have actually destroyed us under Ruben Amorim. It was obvious that we were playing better football. And yes, we were reserved. Yes, we were careful in the first half. And maybe, just maybe, if we went guns blazing, it might have worked. It might not have. You don't know. We could be sat here complaining if we went and threw the kitchen sink at West Ham in the first half. I would have liked seeing that, but of course, you've got to have the players to do the job. Defensively, we know we're not as good as we should be. Yes, we've got the players going forward and we can attack, but I think we saw Mbeumo, Kuna, our attacking players were coming back and doing a lot of defensive work yesterday in the first half just to cope with West Ham. And yeah, we knew. I told you guys before the game, I told you in yesterday's morning show, I said, look, this is going to be a game of attacks, which who attacks the best. And of course, we knew West Ham were going to use their defensive approach is to just attack. That's how they do. That's how they've been working so far. And Nuno has got them working really hard. And yesterday's performance, I just found they were just really difficult to break down. But we're going to get loads of games like this. We're going to get lots of other teams doing exactly what West Ham did. So let's get ready for this. We've got to cope with these kind of games. We've got to be able to break teams down like this and make sure we don't concede. That's the biggest problem. Yesterday, Luke Shaw fell asleep, made a few mistakes, and it led to West Ham's first and only goal. Other than that, I really thought we did pretty well against West Ham. We had some injury concern with Harry Maguire going off, and Leny Yoro stepped in, and I thought he did a terrific job. I thought he was really good stepping in and did a great job. For me, look, the man of the match for us was, of course, Sesko coming on, scoring that goal. What a goal. What a goal. Look, Sesko we didn't give up. I like the fact we didn't give up. I like the fact that Sesko was there. His confidence is increasing game by game. We can see it. We can see him now slowly getting more confident, more comfortable in this team, knowing how to take his chances. If that was Sesko a couple of months ago, Sesko would have probably not been able to finish that. He would have taken at least 3 or 4 touches just before he even took a shot off. And that's the difference of a player playing with confidence and a player, well, playing with zero confidence. Let me go back. Actually, I've got this clip here of the. Let me just bring this up. See if you guys can watch it from a different angle. I hope it doesn't get copyrighted because, you know, YouTube do this, but it's from a fan's perspective. So I'm hoping that they don't. But if you go back, this is the goal. I mean, Ahmad to Mbeumo. Mbeumo with a brilliant ball in, and what a finish, man. I mean, I would never have expected him to finish it from there. And look at the devastation of the West Ham players. That shows you a 1-goal lead is never safe. And with against United, I think this is it. This is why I keep saying this United team under Carrick feels different. It feels different because it feels like, yes, we are cooking, man. We are cooking under Carrick because we've got the same old kind of temperament back again. We're not going to give up. We're not going to give up. Yes, we're Man United. Yes, we don't give up. And of course, look, we're not going to leave even a point. You know, we're not going to leave that point. And this could make all the difference later on in this season. You know, that 1 point that we've rescued at West Ham could make the difference between qualifying for Champions League or not. Look, the good news is that Chelsea drew yesterday as well. So again, look, it was. We've got to look at the silver lining here. And for me, I woke up this morning thinking, look, I'd rather have taken a draw than a loss, and it was a few seconds away from a huge loss for us. So. Michael Carrick undefeated. What a manager we've got. And his comments after the game also were really measured and calm. And he kind of put a reality to everything. And it was really good hearing him. I was a bit pissed, but once I sat down and watched his post-match press conference, I realised, look, okay, maybe we've got to keep things in perspective. And there was a lot of distractions going on yesterday with the bloke with his haircut thing and the United strand and all that. And it was just, I think there was more talk about that than the actual game. And it was frustrating me. It was really frustrating to listen to the debacle going on behind the scenes and elsewhere, and nothing to do with United playing and Carrick going for their 5th win. And for me, I really do hope that yesterday someone's put the arm around him and said, look, it's best if you just get your hair cut and just say, look, I'm still happy with United going on a 4-match win and a 5-match unbeaten run. And that should be good enough. Because it is, I feel like, causing a distraction. I just feel like it's just going to go on and on and on. And it feels like we've become a bit of a laughing stock. Anyway, let's get to the big news, major news coming out today. First, we'll concentrate on Manchester United. And then we've got, of course, the breaking news that Thomas Frank, Spurs manager, has been sacked. We're getting the news. We've got it about an hour or two ago that Thomas Frank has been sacked after Spurs display yesterday, but they're very close to the relegation zone. Not looking good for Spurs, and of course, I think they have to change things around. It's unfortunate because I like Thomas Frank. I've always thought he's a good manager, but clearly he's not done well with Spurs, and they've had to pull the trigger and bring in somebody else. There's lots of rumours going around that it could be Ruben Amorim coming back to Spurs. I doubt it very much. I very much doubt Ruben Amorim is going to take the job, even if he was offered the job. But it would be very interesting, wouldn't it? I mean, but let's come to the other major breaking news concerning Man United. We'll come back to the Thomas Frank news, and it is to do with Harry Maguire. Yes, Harry Maguire was impressive yesterday. I thought he played well. And then there was a bit of an injury scare with his hamstring, and he did get taken off, and Leny Yoro came on, and like I said, he did fantastic. Leny Yoro was impressive, and I'll come to Leny Yoro in a short while, but let's first discuss the big news concerning Harry Maguire, and it looks increasingly likely that he's going to be offered a new contract at Manchester United, extending for another year. Let me know what you think of this. Personally, I think this is not good timing. Not now, I say to this, because look, we're midway through his season. Harry Maguire's barely played for us, right? He's only played 4 or 5 games. Why are you going to give him a contract immediately? Wait on till the end of the season. Maybe leave it till the last couple of games and then decide. Tell him, yes, we are considering you as a possible re-signing, possible centre-back going into the next season. But let's not just give it to him on a plate. It's just weird. Why do United not learn from past experiences? Do not offer him a contract and give him it and sign it and everything, and then he's going to fall off. He's going to fall off because he's going to have nothing to work for. We've seen players who, when they have something to work for, they make sure they play good football. Now we're seeing it with Casemiro. Now I'm not saying, look, this is not good from Casemiro. I'm loving Casemiro's current form, but I also have to be real with you guys and say that I believe that Casemiro is playing this good is because he knows he's going to go into the World Cup. He needs to be 100% there. He needs to prove himself to the rest of his international teammates that he is good enough to be captaining Brazil in this World Cup coming in 2026. This year, actually. What am I talking about? Next year. This year, 2026. So, yeah, that's why he's doing it. And that's why we've even got Luke Shaw playing out of his skin, even though I felt like yesterday was one of his poor games. And that's why I think Michael Carrick might end up making some changes now, having seen Dalot and Luke Shaw struggle yesterday. They struggled massively against the pace that was coming down the wings for West Ham. Somerville, we knew, was going to cause problems. He's the most informed player for West Ham, and Dalot was going to have his hands full. And Dalot struggled. Dalot really did struggle. And Bowen absolutely cooked Shaw on that other side as well. So, anyway, coming back to this news about Harry Maguire being offered a new contract, I feel like it's too early. Too early. Let me know in the comments if you think this is a good move by United to box him off and make sure he doesn't go and agree a contract or any move with any other club, and they've got him for another year. Look, I'm not saying Harry Maguire hasn't done well. He's been brilliant so far. He's done really well. I just feel like United are just simply too easy. They fall into the same trap again and again, offering contracts to players who kind of have 1 or 2 decent games, right? That's the problem. We need more commitment. We need more consistency from these players before we start offering them contracts. And I don't know what the terms of the contract are. I'm hearing that it's a considerable reduction on his salary. So let's wait and see. If that is the case, maybe it's a good move from United because they can make sure they can go in there, get him to sign on a lower salary and get things done. But anyway, let's move on from Harry Maguire. Let's talk about the game itself, and then we'll move on to other things, obviously discussing the sacking of Thomas Frank as well. But anyway, let me first actually talk about the cameo appearance made by Leny Yoro. We're talking about centre-backs. We're talking about offering Harry Maguire a new contract, but this kid came in, and before the game, in the morning show, we were discussing how there could possibly be a change in the centre-back position. We were guessing maybe Leny Yoro coming in or someone like Haven being brought in. And I did rule it out, but there was a few comments in the comment section saying that no, there could be Leny Yoro could start. And when he did come on, he looked sensational, and he actually stopped a few key breaks from West Ham. I was really impressed by him. Let me actually recap on some of these moments, man. This is the block on Wilson. He ran down. I mean, it was a great run. I think this is the Adama Traore. This I thought was a goal. I just thought, oh my God, that's it. Adama with his pace, just running at United. I thought it's a goal. But Leny Yoro again making, and we've know what he's like. He's really good at making these last minute blocks and tackles. He's got the pace as well. Leny Yoro, if he just gets his positioning right, and that comes with experience. The experience of being in the right place at the right time as a centre back is crucial. But once you work that out, you will be an absolute sensation. He is going to be amazing. That will come with experience, his positioning on the pitch. And once he does that, boom, this guy's going to be, for me, a Rio Ferdinand. Every time I watch him play, I think he reminds me of a young Rio Ferdinand with pace, with composure. He just needs to get his positioning right, and we will have one of the best centre-backs in the world playing for United. And then we've got Haven as well. So for me, this was a great performance. And we heard from Michael Carrick, actually. He came out saying the same thing. He said yesterday in his press conference that he was really, really pleased with Leny Yoro. And again, I really like that about Michael Carrick. He gives credence to, and he gives the confidence needed. So Leny Yoro sat there, he's listening to his manager talking about him specifically and talking about how he came on and impressed. And for a young player to hear that is brilliant. And that will no doubt increase Leny Yoro's confidence. And again, in the next game, Harry Maguire might play. Probably, if he's fit, he'll play. But at least we've got a confident centre-back to come on as a replacement if we need to. And we've got him ready for next game or the game after. If there's an opportunity arises where he needs to play and he needs to start, that's where we need our players to be fully confident. Now, yesterday's game, it ended 1-1. We missed out on our 5th win in a row with Michael Carrick in charge. And, of course, there was a huge fanfare going on behind the scenes, distracting everybody from the actual game. And that was the United Strand obviously getting his hair cut. And, look, I've got nothing against this guy. He's a Man United fan, as far as I can see. There's some people who doubt it, but look, he's a United fan, and he decided not to cut his hair until United won 5 games in a row. I think when he must have announced it, he probably would have thought that Ruben Amorim's going to cook with United. I don't know what was his thinking behind it, but unfortunately, United have missed out by, of course, just drawing against West Ham, or else he would have got his hair cut. I felt like, look, it was a distraction. I've seen some quotes from Rooney, actually. I put them up on the screen, actually. So this is Rooney on the United Strand. He says, I'd put him to the other side of the country. He's doing my head in. We're talking about Carrick and United trying to win their 5th game in a row. And the whole thing is about this guy getting his hair cut. I'd bet he'd be devastated if United win the 5th game because all of a sudden he's irrelevant. Look, I think that's slightly harsh, but I can see lots of fans coming out with the same comments. Lots of fans are saying that, look, he's riding this high and it's because of him. Look, if this guy, if United were to win yesterday and he does get his hair cut, yeah, he will. I guess he will be irrelevant because, yeah, I don't think he's got nothing else. He's got nothing else showing that, look, I'm providing some kind of service. I mean, I just think he's turned it into a bit of a circus. He's just turned. There's lots of, and the crowd that he's with, they're a bit of a comical crowd. Yesterday, I saw some clips about with him with other Man United fans who are also like content creators and stuff, but not your usual content creators. Not like giving putting stuff out like this, for instance. They're kind of comical in. You know what I'm talking about. If you've seen who he was hanging out with and what he was doing. And look, again, I'm not hitting on anybody. I'm just saying that when I was watching the game, I'm watching the flipping game and I'm pissed off because United are losing 1-0. And then you hear the flipping commentator talk about the United strand not being able to cut his hair. And I'm thinking, what the F has that got to do with this bloody game? I'm here pissed off because I'm watching United. I want them to win. I'm there, sat there, stressing out, watching United, thinking, shit, are we going to be able to score a goal against this bloody West Ham defence that are just sitting back in flipping 8-man defence? Are we going to get past them? And the commentators are there laughing about the United strand getting a bloody haircut. And I was thinking, what's he flipping turned this game into? What's he done to United? You know, what the F is this? So for me, it's a huge distraction. And I do get where Rooney's coming from. I do get, look, there are times where I'm looking at it and thinking, I don't want to talk about that. I don't. And there's people chatting to me about United. I was talking to someone yesterday and he was like, oh yeah, you know, oh, you looking forward to the game tonight? And I was like, yeah, looking forward to it. And then immediately the comment is, oh, by the way, what do you think about the chap getting his haircut? And I'm thinking, what do you mean? The guy, I don't care about that. I really don't. I want United to win 5 in a row because I want them to qualify for Champions League. That's my prerogative. That's my aim. That's what all United fans are. I'm hoping most Man United fans are thinking like that. The problem is that you have got a divide between the United fans who are hardcore United fans and support United and are footballing fans, and then you've got a section of fans, and it must be a small section of fans who really are not hardcore United fans, and they're not there, worried about United. When I do a watch along, you know what I'm like, guys. You know what I'm like. When you're watching me watch the flipping game, I'm stressed out. I'm living every kick, every pass. I'm there on the edge of my seat because I'm stressed out and I want United to do well. I want them to score. I want them to win. But I feel like some fans don't care that much. They're there just for the ride, if you know what I mean. They're there just for the moment. And if United don't do well, they're fine with it. They turn off the TV and they go off and they're not that bothered. They're not that bothered. So for me, for me, this was a huge distraction yesterday. And like I said, after yesterday's game, I turned around in my match reaction and I said, look, we've drawn 1-1, but please, United Strand, if you have the best interests of the club at heart, just make an announcement, make a statement saying, look, although United drew last night, I still feel like they've done well enough for me to just cut my hair and end this, this phase. Just, 4 wins and a draw, I think justifies a haircut. Just go and get a haircut. So that's my opinion. You might not agree with me. And look, I respect some of you out there might not. Some of you might be sat there thinking, Travis, you're talking absolute shit. Travis, you need to just let this guy do what he needs to do, and you're hitting on him. I'm not hitting on him. I really am not. I've heard that whatever he's doing, and at first I was like, right, okay, yeah, funny, good, but then I just felt like we're already a bloody laughing stock with the flipping Glazers and Ineos, right? We don't need any more flipping clowns to join the circus. That's my opinion on it. You might agree, you might disagree. Them are my thoughts. Like I said, I'm going to put them out there. Like I said, some fans I spoke to, they find it funny. They find it funny, and they're like, "Yo, yeah, he's not going to be able to cut his hair." And apparently, this morning I saw on social media some other geezer now who's jumped on the bandwagon, and he's saying, "I'm not going to cut my beard until." United don't win the next 5 games or 10 games. I don't know what it was, but I just switched it off as soon as I saw him. I thought, no bloody way. I don't want another bloody so-called United fan jumping on this whole bandwagon and now saying, I'm not going to shave my beard. And it's already grown to some extent. And then he's like, look, I'm not going to cut it until United win, and I was like, oh no, stop this. And this is it. I was already warning you guys yesterday. I was saying, look, I get this feeling that there'll be lots of copycats out there. There'll be copycats out there who might, after this game, might turn around and say, well, I'm not shaving my hair off until United win 10 games in a row. Like, shut up, man. Just go and support your team and make sure they're doing well. Even the whole nonsense about even Bruno Fernandes being asked the question in the build up to the game about this kid getting his haircut, and Bruno Fernandes was like, are you effing serious? Like, we're in here like slogging our guts out and you're talking about a guy who's refusing to get his haircut? Like, come on. But anyway, let's get back to the game. Let's get back to the brilliant finish by Sesko. Look, I'm really, really pleased with Sesko. I was pleased with United not giving up. And that is a determining factor for me. It does feel like the old United. And under Carrick, I've said it, this is the closest we've got to playing like Sir Alex Ferguson's teams, because we wouldn't have given up back then. And it felt like that last night. It felt like Fergie time. And yeah, that panics teams. And if we build a reputation of not giving up till the final whistle, teams panic in the last couple of minutes. They'll know. And that panic sets in and their confidence levels drops. And we just have that boogeyman approach, don't we? We have that scary approach that no matter what we do, we can't bloody beat this Man United side. There's no way we can beat these guys. They'll still come back, even if we're 1 or 2 goals ahead. And that's the reputation and the fear that you want to instill in everybody that you're facing. So yesterday's performance, yes, it was frustrating that we didn't get the win, but of course, the positives are that we still live to fight another day, and we've got that 1 point. And like I say, it could mean the difference between qualifying for Champions League or not later on. And again, the other positive is that Chelsea drew and they're directly behind us. Let me go to the chat, guys. I want to see what you guys are all saying today about the game. Let me know in the comments what you think about the game, what you thought about the players, who was your favourite player. Sesko, of course, came on, rescued the situation. And also let me know about the United strand and see what your thoughts are on that guy. I mean, again, it could be controversial. It might not be. You know, you guys might agree. You might not. Jim, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had an enjoyable watch yesterday. Sesko was the only bright spark in a dull game. We were knocking the ball around. It was our half like we had. We should have won. Yeah, if you're going to sum it up, yeah, I mean, it was a dull game. It was a boring game in the first half. United just passing it side to side and almost like a bit like what we were doing under Van Gaal. It was... I was watching the game thinking, shit, this is very similar to like just keeping possession of the ball. But I think United were just... yeah, playing within themselves. They should have taken the game to West Ham. Not taking the game to West Ham, I thought, gave them more encouragement that okay, we could actually go and score and we could put pressure on United. And then United playing a deep defensive line, I felt really gave them even further encouragement that we didn't need. If we were cooking, we burned our first meal. Standards are being lowered just because he's doing better than Amrin. That shouldn't be our yardstick. Good point there. Good point, Jim. Sesko should have come on at halftime. I was saying that. I was watching the game in the first half and I was saying this game's crying out for Sesko because the centre-backs for West Ham have got nobody to mark. They're not doing any work. They're not being dragged out of their position. Disasi was just chilling out. He was relaxed, man. He was having an enjoyable game. They were all chilling out in the back. They weren't being dragged around or being told to do anything. So their position stayed the same. So I thought that was where they struggled. Yoro was very good sliding tackles. Yeah, Yoro for me was brilliant. And Anish actually saying that Anish was you're the one who was saying about Yoro starting the game yesterday. So that would have been a good shout. I remember you saying something like that. It's all about him now. Effing idiot, the United strand. Wow, I wasn't expecting such forceful thoughts about that. I'm with Rooney on this one. It says Wickas. Dark. I'm almost lost because of the wrong tactics of safe manager Carrick. Yeah, look. Yesterday it did feel like that. It did feel like Carrick is now afraid to lose a game. Rather than saying, right, okay, let's go and win this game. I thought he kind of set the team up saying, we can't lose. I don't want a loss against West Ham away from home. So let's just not do that. Let's just set up to not lose. And I felt like that encouraged West Ham to come out and play against them and do a better job. Or I think West Ham would have been fearful of United. We were fearing West Ham because of their current form, but what about our bloody current form? We should have been taking that to that stadium saying, screw you, we're the team that's in the top spots, you're in the relegation zone, so we're going to come and smash you. And if we took that energy there, I think we would have done well, but we didn't. There was certainly no charity link on the stream. Barely effing mentioned it. All right, okay. I've not seen it. I look, like I say, I've just seen it on social media. Was doing my head in this night. Yes, he was doing everyone's head in. Right, okay, so I'm not all alone. I thought for a moment I'm the only one who's feeling like this, and maybe I'm taking it too personally. Maybe it was because of the result. Maybe I was just being a bit negative about the guy. But thing is, this hair thing makes it seem like 5 games is easy to do. It's not. Teams do not do it often. Villa did it last, and look at them right now. Exactly. Really good point there, Boxing Freaks. Welcome to the show as well, by the way, guys. Everyone who's tuned in for the first time or I've not seen on the chat. So thanks for your comments as well. I always appreciate hearing from United fans about what their thoughts are on the games and, of course, everything else. And that's a really good point made there. It's not easy. So that's why I just feel like, yeah, it's just, what's he thinking? We should be happy with 4 wins and a draw. Yeah, I think so too. But this game is this 5 game is looming. Yeah, I think the distraction maybe took it away from us. I really do. I might be overhyping this United Strand guy, but I felt like all the media, everything was concentrating on him. I saw a clip of him with PK as well, and look, we know that United players are always on their phones. We saw a clip of them waiting in the train station, and they're like 90% of them, apart from Casemiro, didn't have a mobile phone in his hand, and they're all glued to social media. That's all they're doing. And of course, they're consuming this. They're watching this. They're watching the United Strand, and they're being made a big deal about. And I'm just thinking that probably does weigh on them. They're human. They're human. I would be happy if we go 4 win and a draw, 4 win and a draw, 4 win. And for the rest of the season, yeah, I think, look, I would be. I'd be happy because it'd be unbeaten, wouldn't it? We'd be unbeaten. So 5 in a row doesn't determine top 4. Losing games when your rivals win and losing to your rivals are key. Yeah, spot on. That's a really good point. That is key. The key is that we keep winning when everybody else around us is losing. That's the main thing. That's what keeps us exactly where we are. Jim says, Rooney, stop talking about him and the rest of the pundits and even United fans, and he will go away. We are all making a stupid thing relevant, so stop. Okay, Jim. Okay, I apologise. Now, I know what you mean, Jim. I know what you mean. I think it is. I think there's lots and lots of people giving him airtime and making something of it when really we should put it to bed. But like I say, I think he should take that position and say, I don't want to distract from what Carrick's doing. Because let's be honest, if it wasn't for him and we'd got this record of 4 wins and a draw, we'd all be loving it. We'd all be really pleased. And we'd still be saying, this is a great run. This is great. This is brilliant. Under Ruben Amorim, West Ham away. Again, if we had Ruben Amorim and we were playing the same football we were playing with Ruben Amorim and we went to West Ham, let's be honest, we would have got battered. There's no 5-in-a-row trophy, and this guy needs to shave it off and say, look, lads, let's be happy with what we've done. This is a statement. This is a statement to show you guys that 4-1 draw is a good record. Yeah, exactly my point. Yeah, good. Well, I'm glad people are agreeing. Him doing that will let people reflect on how positive it is. Exactly. We're missing the bigger picture here because of him. And like you've said, what was it? You've said Boxing Freaks, which is, it's not easy. Because he's come out with saying, I'm waiting for 5 wins in a row until I cut my hair. Everyone assumes that it's a really easy thing to do, going 5 games unbeaten, 5 win rates or 5 wins. It's just crazy. I don't think it's a bad result. We can't win them all, says Chris. Chris, thanks for that. I mean, that is true. I mean, let's bring it back to reality. I think we all were like, expecting a win, but we also can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? We got to remember that this is still a good performance from where we've come from before Carrick joined and came in as an interim manager. Chris, it wasn't in the big picture. This is the 3rd channel this morning I've watched talking about it. It keeps getting relevant. I don't understand. Sorry, Jim. I'm not going to mention it. Not going to mention it. They can't be real fans. Grace says, "I'll stop drinking Red Bull when we win 5 games in a row." I think that's more reasonable. That's we won 5 games with Fergie under Amrin. To be honest. We won a few games in Fergie time under Amrin, to be honest. We have. There have been some games where we have done pretty well in the last couple of minutes of Amrin's era as well. He's seen the traction. He's getting to do what you expect. But Boxing Freak says Carrick needs to be a bit more urgent with his changes. It was noticeable, I feel, like these are his real tests now. The low block teams, yep, this is it. I've been saying this since Carrick's come in. I've said, look, the biggest test for us is the low block teams. Against Man City, against Arsenal, even Fulham, to their credit, they kind of came out to play football. And same thing with Spurs. They didn't sit back. So this was the first team that we've really played against where I felt like they've just put that low block defence in and the midfield, and that's it. They're happy to sit there and not be shifted out of their positions. And it was so narrow as well. There was no space to do anything. It was actually really frustrating to watch because you could see United going and taking the ball there and then suddenly running out of options because they couldn't pass it through anywhere. They couldn't, and there was not enough width either. It was really difficult. But again, Carrick needs to now see that and see that most teams watching that yesterday will see, right, okay, so this is how we combat Carrick's United. So we need to work a way around that. We need to see if whether bringing Sesko on at the start of the game might make a difference or maybe do something else. It was a shit performance, but main thing is we saved it. West Ham saved their games for us there. I felt like that as well. I felt the crowd was up for it yesterday. The West Ham crowd against United were just like, yeah, we want to take this scalp. Kuna should have stayed on. He looked annoyed and it can be damaging to his confidence of players from Brazil to come off when they are doing better than someone else like Mbeumo. It was a strange move that when I saw Sesko coming on, I thought he might be coming on for maybe someone. I thought Ahmad had a poor game. I thought maybe Ahmad is going to come off. But I wasn't expecting Kuna to come off because, again, yes, I thought he had a decent game. I did. And Mbeumo didn't have a great game. Even his cross wasn't the best that Sesko did a sublime finish from. At first hand, I thought that was a brilliant assist. But I think looking back at it a couple of times, I realised that he wasn't intending it to go that low. I thought it looks like he was trying to put in a decent high cross and it just kind of happened to go quite low. Love Brian, but nobody can be a golden boy. Yeah, look, he had a decent game, but again, he didn't have the space to do the damage. And Mbeumo does best when he's got space to run in behind the defence. But unfortunately, there was none of that yesterday, and that's something again teams will be watching and saying, okay, so this is how we combat Brian Mbeumo. We just have a low block and just sit back. Do not give him space to run into. I will stand with Strand and say I will not watch us win a title until we win a title. Please keep me in your thoughts through this difficult time. Says Solly Kwon. Yeah, it's a good point. Give the hair and say it was beyond what was expected. We got a turnaround. That's the main point. Yeah, that's my point. I just feel like, yeah, we've got the turnaround, and surely that's the best thing that's happened to United in these recent weeks. Where do you think Kuna's best position is? A good point, Grace. I think he's still best on that left-hand side. I've seen him play through the middle, but I feel like that from coming on from the left-hand side and then cutting in and going on to his right and taking a shot, I feel like that's where he's most comfortable with. Yesterday, I felt like him playing through the middle didn't actually work for me, even though obviously it's interchangeable and you see them switching around. Ahmad even came to the left, to the right and left and switching around, but I just felt like that's his natural position. That's the position that he played and did well with Wolves, and I think whenever we've seen him for United, I think he plays well there, coming back as well, dropping into the midfield. But I just felt like Mbeumo and Kuna had to do a lot more defensive work and give cover to both Luke Shaw and Dalot yesterday, which really kind of stifled our attacks. That's my point there. There are trophies for shit teams turnaround for United only. Espionage, hope you're doing well, or Espo, sorry. Finally, Tottenham sacked Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank is actually secret agent and silver member of Arsenal. With the new coach, Tottenham can pump up Arsenal. Well, look, he's not done too well, has he? There's something clearly not going right at Tottenham. Thomas Frank, like I said in the opening of my show, I think he's a good manager. I think he's a good manager, but he's just not done well with whatever reason. Look, I personally would have given him a bit more time, but I'm not shocked because Spurs are literally, a game away from dropping into that relegation battle. And once you drop into that relegation battle, and you haven't got much games left, and every team is playing good football or decent football, you're going to struggle. You might actually end up getting relegated. I actually think a front two formation would suit us. Look. We kind of do play that right now with Mbeumo and Fernandes. That's the formation that we end up playing as well. Partly, not always, but in the game, if you look carefully, we end up doing that. Why didn't he do the obvious and put Kuna on the left? Mbeumo up front was the winning formula. Yeah, I thought that was odd. I'm not comfortable with Mbeumo playing further out on the wing. I know why he was doing it is because he was expecting Ahmad and Mbeumo to drop back and play, obviously, a more defensive role against the attack of West Ham. West Ham, we did highlight in yesterday's morning show, are going to go down that. That's their main attacking threat down the wings with Bowen and Somerville. And Somerville was cooking Dalot yesterday. Let's say it like it is. I mean, Dalot, I thought he did pretty well. Again, it was a decent performance from him. There was a few moments where I was screaming and shouting at him, I must admit. But other than that, I thought, look, it was a hard task to keep Somerville quiet because he was someone threatening to score again. Yes, two strikers would be great, but no one does 4-4-2 anymore. Yeah, I liked 4-4-2. I still like the 4-4-2. And there are times when you look at United playing and it is a 4-4-2. But yes, I agree. It's always kind of fluid. It's not always the 4-4-2 of the back in the day 4-4-2s, like where it's quite rigid. Kuna tracks back brilliantly, works hard, plays out, and gives other players freedom to push on. He's just a little bit loose compared to Brian, so I think that plays to Carrick's safe narrative. Yeah, look, Kuna for me offers us a lot more. You've just got to watch him off the ball, and he does do a lot for the team, and he is doing a lot more than what is expected of a player like that. But look, yeah, I think Carrick does take him off because he is one of those players that he thinks, okay, maybe he can come off and I'll bring on somebody else in his place. Grace says, Dallo, man of the match. Come on, Grace. Come on, let's be honest. Let's be honest. I was thinking about you when I was criticising him yesterday. I was watching it. I was thinking, I bet Grace is watching this right now. I'm thinking, and trying to work up an excuse for Dallo. That's what I was thinking. A 4-2-2 formation would be good. Is that what you're saying? I think that could work. Look, I'm not too bothered about the formation right now because it's working. Whatever Carrick is doing on the left-hand side, of course, with Shaw and Kuna, or if it's Mbumo attacking down that side, it's working. We are cooking. We are scoring. We are making chances. Even yesterday's game, I wasn't upset about United playing, because even despite the low block, United did create some good chances and chances we could have buried and could have actually got something out of. So overall, I think it was a decent performance. I just feel like we should have gone a bit more at them. We should have taken the game to West Ham. I think that would have made them nervous and they would have panicked with everything that's going on. That's my taking of it. And I'm hoping that United can go next game and actually cook again. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Before we leave, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody in the chat, everyone who's commented for the first time and joined the show. If you've not already done so, please hit that like button so it gets sent out to a few more Man United fans who can watch our show today and obviously see what your comments were. And if you're not already subscribed to the Man United stream channel, make sure you hit that subscribe as well. Let me just finish off with a few more chats here. I predicted 1 day ago Chelsea 2-2 Leeds United full-time score, and this is what happened. Well, that's a really good prediction. I thought Chelsea were going to just absolutely destroy Leeds. I thought Chelsea were going to win this. Early on, I was watching that game before I turned on the United game, and Chelsea looked comfortable to me. And then I was thinking, right, okay, shit, we need to win tonight because Chelsea are going to probably get the 3 points. But thankfully, they didn't. And the draw last night against West Ham isn't as bad. Thomas Frank, good coach, wrong team. No coach seems to do well at Spurs. It's weird. It's like they are cursed. They are cursed. I mean, Spurs. I'm loving it. I don't know what Spurs is not my. I'm not a big fan of Spurs. I really can't stand them. And Thomas Frank, I thought, yeah, again, exactly what you say, Jim. I think he's a good coach. I think he's decent. But yeah, it's just weird that he couldn't turn things around. Spurs generally are a weird team to kind of play with as well. I think Fletcher played 4-4-2 diamond. It's one of the games. I think he did. I think that was against the Burnley game, I think. Gave you a sub. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Anyway, what is this? Manchester City 4-1 Fulham. Oh, tonight's games 4-1 Fulham. You're confident. Of course, you're a Man City fan, but yeah, I think that's going to be a trickier game than you think. Fulham impressed me against United. I thought they were pretty good. Away from home, at Old Trafford, whilst United playing the way they were, and Fulham actually played well. Sunderland against Liverpool 2-2. That's going to be a cracking game. I hope Sunderland can actually win against Liverpool. That would be a really good scoreline. And Brentford against Arsenal, well, I hope Arsenal can do a job on them. 3-1, I think you're being very optimistic there. I think, look, Arsenal are going to it's going to be in Arsenal's court to throw it away, but anything can happen. Anything can happen. So let's wait and see. Guys, appreciate you coming on, everyone. I'll be back tomorrow morning with, of course, further news on United, and looking forward to the next few games, and we'll discuss more then. So take care, and thank you.